We appreciate you returning to the coin service channel. My goodness. The idea that cryptocurrencies would soon collapse is one of the most widely held misconceptions about the asset class. They are trying to get it done. On top of that, most people probably just dismiss it as a conspiracy idea. They might be too casual about it. The issue is that this particular market appears to have been targeted. A couple of things need our attention. Alright, so swaps, eh? Many people choose to disregard these discussions because they are usually rubbish or have no real substance. Many of these discussions are crucial when put in context. They play a vital role in terms of liquidity. Having said that, I do think that a big issue with a lot of these American exchanges is the lack of access to great ideas. As an example, I've long since utilized Mexi as an exchange. I fell in love with Mexico for all the opportunities it presents. A massive $600 million withdrawal occurred on April 3rd in Qcoin. Due to the criminal conspiracy accusations that we have brought, cryptocurrency investors are fleeing Qcoin. The main cause of this was the introduction of policies and regulations meant to prevent the laundering of illicit funds. Many of these communications are being closely examined right now. Actually, it started before FTX and persisted till, well, FTX. Regulators, however, have created major issues for a number of these sites, and some of them are even facing legal action. Nance, Coinbase, Mexi, and countless others are all part of this category of exchanges. Plus, I've only now started being honest about Mexico. Got it. Accounts that do not comply with the Know Your Customer verification will be virtually erased by June 30th, as stated in this email that began appearing in many inboxes on April 1st. People often ask, what's the big deal with KYC? As far as I can tell, KYC isn't actually problematic. Following Know Your Customer rules on all platforms is something I really want to do. On some of these exchanges, like Mexi, you could get away without passing KYC. On others, like Mexi, they were promoting KYC or controlling the exchange in such a way that it was essential to use their service. In the United States, it's also entirely feasible. US citizens do not have access to Mexico. And the same is true for most Bitcoin exchanges. Nance is one of the first exchanges that comes to me when thinking about the implementation of Know Your Customer limits. Around the years 2018, or 2019, or perhaps even sooner. Moving your assets from Nance to an exchange that complies was still an issue. But this is the problem, isn't it? As an illustration, upon closer inspection, it becomes apparent that certain exchanges are imposing restrictions on user behavior as a result of Know Your Customer policy. If we want our US customers to be able to trade and take part in early investment opportunities, we must use decentralized exchanges. Things get tricky because DEXs isn't something everyone is familiar with. You might remember that I mentioned this in passing back in September, but it applies to more than just exchanges. It even encompasses big banks. Starting on October 16th, Chase UK will no longer process customer payments linked to Bitcoin. The bank emailed its customers. I found it intriguing that on October 16th, Chase UK would stop processing customer payments related to cryptocurrencies, as I indicated earlier. As indicated before, this isn't new, and it's probably connected to Operation Choke Point in an effort to stress the significance of exchanges for on- and off-ramps. Every day, fewer and fewer chances for exchange within the United States open up. But banks are significant as well. What happens to the money supply when a currency is demonetized? Where does the extra cash come from? This is problematic. Having said that, this happened 2 timbers back. A lot of individuals I know were using up whole, so I knew it must be a good exchange. Bank accounts and debit cards were among the several financial services they repeatedly couldn't use. But we didn't get this until March 30th. After 26 years of business and millions of dollars in fees, Wells Fargo abruptly defunded my account, without providing any reason. Everything one could imagine, my checking, savings, credit, personal lines, and even accounts with my charitable organization, were affected by this. Since 2018, I have not entertained the idea of using my personal accounts to purchase cryptocurrency. Furthermore, I am quite methodical and meticulous. Because my name was on several of the other Opolis accounts that were frozen last year due to crypto connection, I assume that's the reason. Whatever the case may be, we were told it was due to some other ridiculous excuse. The fact that private firms can choose their customers doesn't absolve me of responsibility for exposing their shady and immoral practices. It shouldn't matter if there's a need to spy on someone. Americans should be able to freely deal with anyone. I truly hope Wells Fargo goes bankrupt. According to Stephen, the bank treated me like a criminal when I contacted with my inquiry. Additionally, I will continue to advocate for the opening of bank accounts and the democratization of financial systems. You can see the emails pertaining to his account deletion attached to this message. Over time, this problem has not gone away. Actually, I will say this. It is recommended to have many bank accounts if you are trading big sums of money during this bull run and have substantial quantities related to Bitcoin. You must open many bank accounts. In addition, to stay out of trouble like this, you should diversify your bets. Also, XDM has been escalated to customer service for further investigation. Inconsolably burst into laughter. Their reputation has already been tarnished. While they pretend to care about me, they treat their customers like crooks. Ha ha, this is quite funny. The response from Caitlin Long of Custodia Bank to John's worry was, "I'm sorry to hear that Custodia has been seeing a marked increase in inquiries in the past 2 weeks from crypto companies desperately trying to replace bank accounts that their banks have closed. The witch hunt has apparently returned in full swing, and a new wave of crypto, or Operation Choke Point 2.0, is now in motion. We know for sure that they are attempting a covert clampdown here. Therefore, I shall speak up. It has also been verified by Caitlin. Without a doubt, a witch hunt has begun targeting D-Bank, fintech, and cryptocurrency organizations. Politics is king in the United States. Settlements of lawsuits in 2019 that rely on clutching at the point of operation may violate FDIC standards and are hence illegal. My firm belief is that the issue of debanking ought to be brought up during the November election. Even the SEC was weaponized to fight crypto-based companies, as we will see. On the other hand, we have this. The reappearance of Choke Point 2.0 has prompted US banks to clandestinely acquire cryptocurrency-related businesses and services, which I can confirm. This is a big deal. Both financial institutions and government agencies have a responsibility to hold accountable people who engage in discriminatory account closure practices. Legislators should defend the people because some individuals are untouchable. To reiterate Caitlin's original argument, it is obviously against the law, unethical, discriminatory, and contrary to the 2019 FDIC operating choke point case settlement to force clients to liquidate their bank accounts. There will be consequences for those who engage in this behavior. Operation Choke Point 2.0 can also be discussed at this point. We are cognizant of the fact that the SEC is likewise partaking in the activity. Just think about the $215 million fine that JP Morgan got for manipulating the markets. Impressive, there's proof that they are influencing the admission. I find it absurd. And in this manner too. A sum of $125 million is due. The largest US bank, JP Morgan, has been involved in all of these scandals in recent years. In the subsequent Ripple litigation, the SEC is seeking $2 billion. There is no mistaking their objective here. Metal A January piece was, in fact, published by all men. Actually, it concerns the custodial bank, which, as a side note, was unsuccessful in its battle against the Federal Reserve. Operation Choke Point 2.0 is being led by the Federal Reserve, which is joining the SEC in its crackdown on crypto custody. The denial of a custodian's request for a Fed master crown has led one bank to sue the Federation. During this dinner, they persisted. Simply said, a Fed master account is a banking account that a bank needs in order to clear wire transfers and ACH payments through the Federal Reserve System. A federal law mandates that the Federal Reserve provide master accounts to all federal or state chartered depository institutions. Custodian, a Wyoming chartered depository institution, satisfies this requirement. Even though the approval process usually takes 5 to 7 days, the custodian's master account took 20 months to get approved by the Federation. The custodian had no option but to sue the Fed because all other options had been exhausted. Because this persisted for a while, it appeared like many factors were at play. Lastly, discovery materials show that the Federal Reserve in Washington, D.C. was against custodians' plan to provide banking and digital asset services to people and companies involved with cryptocurrency. So they rigged the report to make it read the opposite of what the Kansas City Fed had concluded. This report was used to reject custodians' master account application. The full impact of Operation Choke Point 2.0 was felt in 2023. On the other hand, this has been going on for a while. The question, why was Ripple targeted, will inevitably have new answers, so we can't keep asking them. The SEC has requested $2 billion, where is it? According to reports, major banks are putting a stop to customers buying cryptocurrencies with their bank accounts. One analogy is the fact that gambling is still legal despite the fact that certain banks have banned customers from trading cryptocurrency. A lot of people are risking everything they own, including their homes, to go to the casino. However, our duty is to do just that. However, cryptocurrency is an exciting new field where people may put their money to work and, in the long term, retire early. Months or even years ahead of schedule compared to the conventional retirement age. Our video has come to an end. It would mean a lot to me if you could subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments as usual. Until next time.